Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tyler here, and today we are back with our MyGM series. Now, this episode I skipped ahead like a lot of games. Like I told you at the end of the last episode, I was like, I'm gonna skip ahead about a month. Well, that's what I did. Right here, as you can see, I got a Cavaliers game coming up. I skipped ahead about 3 weeks to the next Cavaliers game, but then I actually decided to skip ahead more. We got offered some trades, like right here, John Lure and 18 first round top 3 protected for Buddy Hield and Garrett Temple. Nah, I'm not biting on that at all. Guys, this is where it gets super sketchy. So he calls me into his office and he wants to start talking about something called donut and cake combined. He said it's the new biggest trend, everyone's eating them. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then he goes on and I tries to have small talk with me. Then he asks me if I trust him. And then he tells me he has a son named Andrew who had all these different career paths: bread baking, finance, real estate, and he's really smart, but none of those career paths worked out for him. So he wants to hire this kid as my assistant GM. Some rich kid that knows nothing about nothing. Doesn't know anything about anything, doesn't know anything. Mr. Sanderson. Guys, this is where it gets super sketchy. So he calls me into his office and he wants to start talking about something called donut and cake combined. He said it's the new biggest trend, everyone's eating them. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then he goes on and I tries to have small talk with me. Then he asks me if I trust him. And then he tells me he has a son named Andrew who had all these different career paths: bread baking, finance, real estate, and he's really smart, but none of those career paths worked out for him. So he wants to hire this kid as my assistant GM. Some rich kid that knows nothing about nothing. Doesn't know anything about anything, doesn't know anything. Mr. Sanderson, I do not like this idea because I don't want some little rich kid going behind my back doing stuff that I don't want happening. And then plus it's him and his dad are going to be in cahoots. The whole 9 yards. I just saw it coming from a mile away and I did not want any part of it. So I basically said, how's it going to look if there's 10 other more qualified people for the job and I hired your son instead? So no, I do not want your son as the assistant GM. And he's like, okay, Taylor, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. You know, I'm disappointed, but you're 100% right. I get it. You know, I shouldn't hire him. We're done with that. I go back to the schedule screen, skipping more games. I get a text from him and he hired him anyway. Bob Sanderson hired his son anyway. So now his son is my assistant GM. And why did he even ask me? Why did we even have that conversation? Why 2K even waste my 4 minutes with a cutscene right there? Then you saw he just called me. He is really perturbed because I haven't asked around and gotten him the draft picks he wants. He wants a top 3 pick. First of all, I don't even have players I can trade for a pick in the top 3. Like, not even Hassan Whiteside. If I just put Hassan Whiteside up, no one's offering me a top 3 pick, and that's the best thing we have. So I don't understand. Maybe if I put up Hassan Whiteside in our pick, I could get a better pick, but I'm not doing that. I want Hassan Whiteside. I want our pick. Our pick's gonna be a top 10 at least, maybe even top 5. Why would I want someone else's pick? This owner's an idiot. I strongly dislike Mr. Sanderson now, in case you haven't noticed. And now we're in his office again and we're having the conversation with him about how, you know, hey, I hired my son anyways, and I told him, hey, it's not acceptable. Alright? You undermine me, make me look like a joke. It's stupid. And what really makes me mad is he keeps telling me I'm right. Well, if I'm right, then listen to what I'm saying and do what I say. But instead, he wants to tell me the kid's a killer, the kid's really smart, and I was like, you know what, fine, I'll make it work. I just am sick of hearing about it, but best believe I'm giving Mr. Andrew Sanderson some attitude when he tries to talk to me, because that little spoiled rich brat doesn't deserve to be cleaning our floors, let alone assistant GM. You kidding me? So we skip a game against the Raptors, and then we lose that game. We're 12-17 now. We get a cutscene with Mr. Andrew Sanderson, the son of our owner. I think this is the first time I've met him. I don't know. I don't remember. But he's a, hey, there's a staff menu. You can open up the staff menu where you can hire new members, you know, start conversations or fire someone. I view the menu and I notice Mr. Andrew Sanderson is getting paid more than everybody else on the team besides the head coach and has a longer contract than the head coach. Now, if you look at his potential and stuff, it's actually not bad. He's got, I think he's a C- with trending to a B, and it has B potential. But I'll tell you what, I'm all for firing this guy. And then once we get out of the menu, he says, keep in mind how helpful I've been in case you ever think about firing me. Now, I don't know if that's just a cutscene that they always have in here, or if he actually, like, if that's something that they had just Andrew Sanderson say. But it's kind of weird that he would say that, knowing that I don't like him. So I don't know what's going on there. The whole situation's weird. Then we got Scal and Willie Cauley-Stein asking for more minutes again. Third time this year. I hate it. Told Scal I promised him more minutes because I think he's a more promising player myself. Willie Cauley-Stein, I gave him the "your time will come" pitch because I like him. I want to keep him on the team if possible, if he improves. But I don't want his overall to go down, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give him the minutes he wants right now. So until Chris Bosh goes, it's gonna have to be putting him off until their time actually does come. So then this stupid idiot Andrew Sanderson, like, yells my name in the parking lot and wants to talk to me about some stuff. I'm like, okay. I'm like actually getting mad in real life right now. So first of all, I'm like, yo, usually we do this in the office. So what are you doing? Then he proceeds to tell me, like, hey, I know we got off on a bad start, but I want to be on the same page, and I know just because I'm the boss's son and I'm the rich kid boss's son doesn't mean I can't work hard and be like everybody else. This is the worst part right here. So he says everybody has goals, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so obviously my goal is to be GM one day. I'm like, yeah. And then he goes, he basically says he's looking to me as a mentor to teach him how to do things. But then he says right here, my question here, Tyler, do you really know what you're doing? Oh my God. I was like, I wanted to throw my controller at the TV when he asked me that. Hey, I want to be a GM someday. I want to know, do you know what you're doing? And then he goes, oh, I'm just kidding. But to be serious for a second though, my dad wants me to be a GM one day. And he basically says, long story short, he wants to take my job one day, is what he told me. That was the whole part of the conversation, was that makes it sound like him and his dad looking at the team 3 years down the line. He's the GM and not me. That's the vibe I got from this conversation. And I'll tell you what, I'm not okay with it one bit. Then he told me basically he was looking at the college class, and that, like, tell me about how good everybody is and who we need to pick up. But then he starts telling me, we shouldn't rule out signing a star like a LeBron, a Curry, a Durant. I want to bring home a championship. This kid is so stupid. He thinks that we're gonna be able to sign LeBron James or Steph Curry in the offseason. Not that I want to anyway, but if I did, you're not gonna come here. Are you kidding me? It's a long shot that Paul George is gonna sign here, which is who I want to sign. And this guy thinks we're going to sign LeBron, and I totally just schooled him and punked him. I was like, listen, you're crazy. We're not signing LeBron James. You think LeBron James is going to come here? You know, and I know he will not. And I pretty much punked him, and he was embarrassed, and that was the end of the conversation. Moving on. He comes back to me and says, hey, listen, I thought about how you told me that I'm basically an idiot for wanting to sign LeBron, but I think what we need to do, I talked to my dad about this, and we need to go after Willie Hernangomez. And he shows me some analytics from the analytics guy talking about how cheap he is compared to how good his player efficiency rating is. How we have to go after him. We have Scal, we have Willie, we have Chris Bosh, we have Hassan Whiteside, we have Harry Giles. I'm not going after these big men. I don't want a big man. We have enough. You know, and the thing is, he said that Bob Sanderson, his dad, demanded to his son that we go after Willie Hernangomez. So he's going through his son he's demanding stuff through his son to me. And his son's coming and telling me, and I went off on Andrew Sanderson again. I told him, I'm not in the business of interpreting innuendo from outside sources and figuring out if basically means definitely, because he says basically a demand. No. I'm blood red mad right now. Alright, calm down. It's just a game, Tyler. Just a game. A quick cutscene here. Go out to dinner with Bob, and he basically all he says is, Hey, you haven't reached out to the Knicks about Hernan Gomez. No, I haven't. Well, because the time isn't right, we don't have any leverage, and also I don't want to. I don't want that guy. I don't want him. Leave me alone. Let me do my job. Stop telling me what to do. You know, he's like yelling at me and he's all worried. It's like, dude, I got this team under control. We're winning the title next year. Also, I said try to say championship and title at the same time. We're winning next year, okay? Leave it alone. Have it under control. After a hard-fought game in which we lose to the Spurs, Hassan Whiteside talks to me on the team plane about how much he likes Bob Sanderson and how he thinks he's a great owner, and he has a much better relationship with Bob Sanderson than he did with Ryan Lance. Hassan Whiteside, that's the thing. So we got a situation where I hate the owner and the owner's son, but the players like him, so it's gonna make me look like the bad guy if I try to get the owner out of there. So it's like I'm heading into a situation in which I can't win no matter what happens. Then here comes the sketchiest part of the episode, and the part where we start to turn on the owner. Kings are in the process of filing a team relocation package. Bob Sanderson asks me to deny that we're relocating. Don't say no comment. He wants me to to deny it. And I told him, listen, I'm not doing that. I'm saying no comment. I'd rather say no comment. He was, I appreciate it, Tyler, but there's more at stake here than your headache. We have all this millions of dollars and millions of moving parts and all this stuff, and I need you to do what I say. So basically, he wants to blindside everybody by telling them we're not moving and then move. And that's wrong. And we'll tell you what, as a Sacramento Kings fan, I dealt with that in real life, and I'm not dealing with it again. Alright guys, that's the episode. Sorry there was no game in this episode, but there's like so much going on with the story that I couldn't fit a game in. I mean, it's already a 12-minute long episode, and it's probably not going to get viewed a lot because no one's going to want to watch 12 minutes of cutscenes. But I gotta post it, it's part of it. So if you guys liked the video, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe. My channel's starting to grow again, so I appreciate everything, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you in the next one.